Well, hello there, and it's time to visit another Commands and Colors ancient battlefield again, and this time it will be Trebbia, the river Trebbia, which is actually a minor river. It's a tributary to the bigger Po River. The year is 218 BC, and we are of course following Hannibal's efforts to invade Roman Italy when he has crossed the Alps. Just to begin with, I will just mention that I checked out some of my previous videos, and my intro speeches to these videos they've grown longer and longer, I realized, and it's kind of funny. Sometimes they're really longer than the gameplay itself, and I know you guys are here to see the gameplay, not hearing me talk about the things around the battle. But of course it's always fun to hear some facts and some peculiar stuff that happened during these times and around these battles. But hey, I will try to keep it down to a minimum from now on, not mentioning too much, but it will be difficult for me because I think it's such an interesting stuff here. So I always gonna mention a few words about the battle before we start anyway. So here we are. Actually along the river Trebbia here, and this battle is actually kind of a direct continuation from the last one, the Battle of Ticinus River. So that was the battle where both sides, the Punic army and the Roman army, were doing a scouting, actually a recon in force that turned out to be a real cavalry battle, also including a lot of velites, Roman light infantry, taking part in that battle. So after that, there had been some maneuvering, and Hannibal has been shadowing Scipio's army pretty much. Scipio, who got badly wounded in his the Battle of Ticinus, he wasn't too eager to fight again with the Carthaginians. He wanted to wait for the other consular army that were en route to this place, and they could together crush Hannibal and his army. So he was waiting for them, and Sempronius, he was actually the other consul that Scipio was waiting for, and he was on his way from Sicily, where he had deployed his army previously in the year. So he had said to his men, okay, we need to go north, and so I'm gonna disband the army right here, and we will meet again up north when the guys were under oath to march there on their own and gather up again and muster and bring the army elements together again. And so they did. So Sempronius' army was approaching here. And this was pretty late in the year. I think it was actually December 218 when the battle took place. So it was a bit cold, but also importantly for Sempronius, who really wanted to do something good during his consular year. I mean, his consular year was coming to an end, and he wanted a victory, so he was kind of eager to fight here. And Sempronius and Scipio did have they have a council, a war council, where they discussed should they attack or not. Sempronius was eager to do the attack against Hannibal. Scipio not that much. He didn't really the time and the place as a good opportunity to crush Hannibal, so he wants to be a bit more cautious. So actually Sempronius did more or less do the attack himself later on. I think though there were some troops from Scipio's army participating in this attack, but sometimes before this battle took place, Hannibal had sent some scouts, some Numidian light cavalry, over to Sempronius' camp, where he had, they had been on a mission to harass and raid and just, being douchebags for the Romans, right? So the Romans, of course, responded by sending out cavalry from their camp, attacking the Numidians who did retreat. But eventually, both sides did commit some more troops to this skirmish that was happening, and well, the Romans on the Sempronius more or less were willing to commit their whole army. They were starting to commit, infantry and everything towards the fighting that was going on. Well, Hannibal did see this, and he thought, well, this is not good. I'm not conducting this battle as I wanted. This is not the time and the place I want to do a full-scale battle with the Romans. So he thought he might as well, pull the shortest straw in this battle. So before he lost the control of the army and before it got, fully committed into this fight, he managed to pull them back. So there was some really good discipline there for the Carthaginian army, and they did disengage and pull back to their fort or their camp. And the Romans, of course, and Sempronius thought, all right, this is good. We won the battle more or less. Those wimps just pulled back and couldn't stand the Roman might here. So he was really eager to continue and fight on if the Carthaginians would allow it. Hannibal, he learned a very important lesson from this. He knew that his opponent, the opposing consul Sempronius, was very eager to fight and actually impatient. He was ready to commit the army fully at first chance. The other thing Hannibal also realized is that the river Trebbia, it was so cold at this point in time. So when the troops were wading, I think it was it was swollen in this. I mean, this is Italy, but it's northern Italy. It was pretty cold. The river was really swollen, so kind of high water. It was up to the I think it was breast height or something, and it was so cold waters. You couldn't really move your limbs and swing your sword and all that properly when you have waded through that cold. You were so your body got so cold by wading through that river, and that was an important thing. So he thought, okay, could we lure the Romans to this side? So they had to wade the river first, and then we could attack them. So he made up this cunning plan. So he wanted to array his battle, or his army into battle on his side of the river, and then he wanted to provoke the Romans to do the attack. So, but that's not all, because this is really the first time we see in a real big battle where Hannibal, not only that he managed to lure the Romans over the river, but we're also seeing him outwit his opponent in another way. He's doing this very clever ambush that we see also here. So his brother Mago, he told him that he would be a chief of an ambushing force during the day of the battle. So the night before, he went to him, he said to him that, okay, pick your 100 best soldiers, both infantry and cavalry, and those 100 soldiers should each pick 10 men more. And that would, be a force of about 1,000 men, 1,100 if you also add up the first 100 picked men. That would be the ambushing force. So that they did, and during the night when it was dark, he moved that, let's say, elite corps unit to a depression in the terrain where they were hidden from Roman sight. So there they waited through the night, waiting for the next morning to see if the battle was commencing. And Hannibal, during the morning, He made sure his guys had a good breakfast. It said that they were oiling themselves. It was cold, you know, so they put oil on their bodies to keep it a bit warm and agile. And then he sent over some forces to harass the Romans. And Sempronius, eager to fight, of course, took the bait fully. So even before the Romans had a really, you know, breakfast and having some food, so they were hungry and they were cold, he arrayed them for battle and when he saw that Hannibal had put his army in a battle array on the other side of the river, you know, he just ordered to blow the horns. So they started to march forward towards the Carthaginians. They were wading over the river, as I said, pretty cold, and the limbs went numb by that wading experience. The cold just beat them hard. And on the other side, Hannibal's forces were patiently waiting. He could have attacked them during the river stage, but he wanted to wait until they got over the river fully before he commit the attack. So he sent forward some skirmishers. There was some skirmish battle happening, and then started the real battle. And it is said that the Romans they did fight hard. It was not even though they were you know, cold and all that, they fought good and they fought hard. So there was kind of an even fight here. Hannibal also deployed his elephants on the flanks, also seen in the scenario setup here. So there were really no decisive thing happening in the battle at this stage. But then Hannibal's trap, you know, launched or triggered. So Mago with his forces suddenly emerged from the back, flank and back from the Romans, and attacked the rear. So that just spread panic in the Roman lines, and they started to rout and retreat back over the river. So now they were cold, they were hungry, and they were tired, and they were exhausted. So many of the Romans actually did drown in the river during the rout, and also many got slaughtered when they tried to wade over, and the Carthaginians caught up with them. So it was a disaster for the Romans, basically. Anyway, there was Romans, I think it was along with Sempronius in the center, there was some Roman legionaries who formed a big square, a square formation, who managed to retreat up on a hill and, you know, keep the Carthaginians at bay there. And then they started a big retreat, and apparently there were somewhere here, probably outside of this map, a bridge over the river, and they fought their way in that hollow square over that bridge and over to the, let's say, Roman side of the river again. So they managed to retreat back there. So that's what real an effort. If you're gonna give the Romans some credit from this battle, that was a big success for them managing to do that. But that was the, you know, more of the veteran troops of the Romans who managed it. Because I forgot to mention that, but many of these Romans who took in Sempronius' army were also, you know, some of them came from Sicily, from Sempronius' army he had there, but he also did recruit a lot of troops along the way around Rome before this battle. So there's lots of green units here on the Roman side. Oh, okay. That I think that concludes the history. I mean, it went kind of long again, but you know, you just have to talk about these things. I think it's crucial to get the right feeling for gaming these, to know a bit of the background here. So first, real big victory for the Carthaginians, or for Hannibal here in this campaign, and he was beginning to show his true, you know, value as a commander here. Really impressive. I mean, Hannibal is probably maybe the one general in my eyes who's the greatest. You know, many later generals. Of course, we have a lot of great generals in history, of course, like Napoleon. But many of these later generals actually, you know, they had Hannibal as their idol. You know, Napoleon, for instance, did refer to Hannibal many times in his notes from his campaigns, and you know, there's other references. I know. Just had to mention that I read a book just now about it was from the Great Northern War and the Battle of Fraustadt. It was 1706 when the Swedish and the Saxons did clash at Fraustadt, and the Swedish managed to, you know, do an outflank on both sides of the Saxon army and captured loads, thousands and thousands of Saxons, even though some of them got away. But it was referred to as Hannibal's, you know, canaille. It was a double envelopment and all that. So, well, Hannibal is cited many times later in history, of course. But as always, all the generals, they learn from their predecessors. So, even Hannibal, I mean, he saw Alexander the Great as his idol, right, and so forth. So, anyway, enough of that. Sorry about that. It went long again. I don't know. It just happens. So, by that, let's check out the War Council. So we have the Carthaginian leader Hannibal with 5 command cards. We have the Consul Sempronius here with 5 command cards, and the Romans actually move first here. And this is a fairly big battle, 7 banners. Then we have some special rules. The river Trebbia is fordable, so the whole river here is fordable. And just to recap the rules of that, when you enter a river, you need to stop. If you battle into or out, it's max 2 dice plus any cards. And then if you do a ranged attack out of that river, you only get 1 die. So that's basically it for the river. Then we have some special rules for Mago and his ambush force, and they can be activated by a leadership card. It says after the Carthaginian first turn, so I guess we cannot play it on the first turn then. Inspire leadership force enter in the section as noted, and leadership any section force enters in the section of the Carthaginian player's choice. So we put the troops on that section's baseline on the Roman side of the battlefield, and Mago will be placed with any of these troops, and the hex where they are deployed will count as 1 hex of movement for that turn. And should these guys need to retreat, they will do it towards the Carthaginian side of the battlefield. So no, I think that's pretty clear. And well, let's see about the armies then, how they look. So let's start with the Sempronius army, the Romans. So we have some cavalry here. Well, first of all, up front we have some skirmishers, 3 velite units. Then we have the main line, and from the left we have some cavalry medium. Then we have warriors, and this is pretty cool, because there were some tribes, at least one tribe, which I don't recall the name of right now, but who actually were loyal to the Romans. You know, Hannibal had a big campaign here in northern Italy trying to rally the Gauls to his side, but some tribes actually prevailed with the Roman camp. So we see some Gallic warriors here in the Roman army. That's not too often we see that, but here we do that. At least not in this time era. Then we have some Italian allies here, 2 auxiliaries. And then we have 3 units of medium heavy. So we have Principes, and we have behind them they have a unit of Triarii. Then we have more of these Italian allies, 2 of them, more Gallic warriors, another Roman cavalry there, and that's it. and Sempronius himself is attached to one of the legionary units here. Over at Hannibal's side we have some cavalry flank here, and that's we have some light cavalry, 2 units, and an elephant unit, and it's a leader called Hanno who leads that cavalry flank. Let's check the other cavalry flank before we check the center line. So over here we have the elephant again, and then instead of 2 lights we have 2 medium heavies, but no leader over here. So these will be Spanish and maybe some Gauls actually also in the cavalry force. Then we have the main infantry line starting here. We have heavy infantry, so that would be probably African veterans. We have some auxilia medium heavies, probably a lot of Spanish and also Gauls. And then here we have another heavy together with Hannibal himself. In front of them 3 slinger units, and then over here I have placed them here. This is the ambush force of Mago. So 2 warrior units and a medium heavy cavalry. So that's pretty cool. And a short word about tactics. Well, starting with the Romans, I will try to, be faithful to history here. I'm gonna be aggressive with Sempronius. I will march forward. I mean, one reason is, of course, if we don't do it, we will be skirmished to death by these slingers who have greater range than our skirmishers. So we need to move forward, and we also want to get in there and clash with Carthaginians. That's our best chance to win the battle. The cavalry, I believe, will only hold the flanks here. We will not engage the enemy cavalry. They have more, and they have elephants, so we don't want to do that. So we just try to keep our cavalry holding the flanks. The velites on the flanks I will use as an anti-tank weapon, right? So I want to throw them at the javelins against those elephants should they charge. I was also thinking about these Gauls, the warrior units. I mean, if we could move them forward 1 step, the next turn we could actually rush in and attack their slingers. It could be worth it actually, getting some easy points there, because those guys cannot retreat. Granted, they can hold for 1 flag, but anyway. That's an idea at least that I have. Otherwise, quite rapidly try to march up and then attack the main line here and try to gain the banners by that. Carthaginian, well, we are kind of, I mean, we can start the game by skirmishing, which we will do, and as we are expecting the Romans to come upon us, we're happy with that. We are more than able to meet them with our forces. We have more heavies. We have, okay, they have more mediums here, but we have the elephants who could charge in and, attack the mediums and so forth. So I think we're okay to meet them. And then, of course, as early as possible, I want to launch the ambush. And I mean, historically, I think the ambush would have come from this flank actually. I think they attacked the Roman, left hand side first, the left flank or rear. But the river is an obstacle here, and we don't fight too good out from the river. So I'm hoping to get them on the Carthaginian left, or maybe the center. That could work as well. But it would be really nice to hit these guys with the ambush force. Too bad I can't do it the first turn, but well, we need the cards for it, of course, as well. So by that, let's start the game, and the Romans go first. Alright, so let's start the game by flipping up the cards in slot A and B as usual. Okay, so we have a first strike for the Romans right away. Let's put it here and then instantly give them another card in slot A So we have an order light troops and we have an order mounted up. Well, let's see what they can play then. That's actually C, D or E. So we're gonna see what they have here. 3 units right, 4 units left, or 4 units center. Okay. So that's interesting. Well, I'm kind of, aware of the danger from the from Magos assault or ambush there. So I might want to start moving the guys on my right hand side. It's a bit gamey, but I think I'll do that to prevent him from attacking my rear there. So by that I will actually order 3 units right. And those guys will be... It's those 3. So the warrior unit will just move up 1. The Velites will move 2 up and start ready to harass those guys. And we just move the cavalry up 1 step, being still out of range of the enemy cavalry there. So the Velites will throw the javelins against that slinger unit. And that's a miss. So we replace the card in slot C then. And then goes the Romans, the Carthaginians. Before that we just should see what they have in slot A and B. So that's outflanked and inspired left leadership. So that's exactly what we want to activate Mago, which we cannot do this turn, but maybe next turn. But we rolled a D or E anyway, so it's one of these cards that they need to activate. So it's a move, fire, move, or order 2 units right, which would be over here. Well, let's pull that up again. Move, fire, move. That will give my slingers, and I will also give my... Actually, the move, fire, move could be interesting right now. We could use 5 units for that, so we'll do that. There's 1, 2, 3, and our light cavalry. We're gonna do some hit and run tactic here. So I'm gonna actually move these guys 1 step here. No, I'll stay here for these and do the fire with full 2 dice attack. And then we're gonna ride up with our light cavalry. Let's do like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, something like that. So these guys have moved. Now I'm gonna do the fire. So let's start over here. It's 2 dice against those Velites, who are actually not supported. Nothing there. Too bad. Then we have these guys, 2 dice against the center one. Nothing. And then we have yet 1 slinger unit. Nothing there either. Bad rolls. And then let's take Hanno's cavalry. They will attack the medium heavy cavalry here with 1 die. That's a miss. And the last one against that Velite. Nothing. Not a single hit. Well, that was really bad. But we can move again. And we will do that. So we're gonna put ourselves into the line here. Let's put Hanno there so we can take 1 flag. And these guys will stay, these guys will stay, but these guys actually move 1 step to get away from the Velite's javelin attack. Then we grab another card. And it's the Romans again. So the Romans get an A or B, order light or order mounted. Think it would be an order light then. So it will be the Velites, these guys. Let's start moving up some auxiliaries here as well. So the Velites move up here. Oh, wait a minute. Or should we attack those guys? No, we are so can get outflanked. Let's go here. I know that's not a good position either because we are not supported there, but hey, let's do that. Then we go here. We go here. And then we're gonna move up our these guys. They go 2 hexes, so they will not battle like that. So now I'm gonna throw some javelins again. Let's start over here. That's a miss. Then we have these guys. Let's target the center one. Miss. Second one. Miss. Well, not that good of skirmishing from any of the guys here. Neither Carthaginians or Romans are doing very well here. I think the cold is hampering the light infantry here. They cannot really throw efficiently with their frozen arms. Okay, that was the Romans then, but now we have a pretty good skirmish line here who could, next turn they could put in some real heavy fire on those slingers if they don't move. So we're gonna see what the Carthaginians do. They have a C, D or E, so they still cannot get in Mago with that card, but maybe they have another one here. So it's medium troops, or 2 units right, or 2 units center. Maybe I should go with the center and skirmish away still, because also tempted to do the mediums. I mean, we could do a cavalry strike from there against the Roman auxilia here. Maybe it's too early. We can get hit back very hard and lose our medium heavies there. No, I want to do that. So let's continue with the skirmishing some more. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's true. It's a Carthaginians over there. So 2 in the center it will be. And I will just, we had 2 units that don't have any support, so I'm going to try to attack those with slingers, just like that. So we start. Who should we attack? Let's try with this one actually, from here. 2 dice. And that's 1 hit. Okay, we have the first blood. And then the second one, 2 dice. And here we got the flag. That was actually what we were looking for. These guys cannot really retreat 2 hexes, only 1, and then they take 1 loss again. So we are pushing back the Velites with some losses here now. Now we are seeing something starting to happen. So the Carthaginians will get a new card, and then we go back to the Romans. Okay. So that will be a C or lowest order count, right? So we don't have the C up, so we're gonna see what we have here. A line command, well. Or lowest order count. That would be 2 units, 4 and 4. So it's between those 2 cards, line command or order mounted. And I'm not really keen to do the mounted right now, so I will do the line command which is pretty good, because this is what we want as a Romans. We want to get forward. We don't want to be lingering on here just waiting for, you know, Mago to hit us in the rear. So we're gonna go in and throw some javelins. I think these velites will now be more of a support role, so I'm gonna go, you know, sideways here actually. Like that. Like that. And like that. The warriors will take one more step forward. We are now ready to charge. These guys will move towards the flank and give room to our more heavy troops that will start marching. So now we hear the bugle sound and the Romans are steadily marching forward from the river. They have, at last, they have assembled on the other side of the river and reformed their lines. So now they're coming. We are only allowed to go one hex with the line commands. Like that. So we are closing into the Carthaginians now. We also have some javelin attacks to do. So we start from here, one die against that slinger unit, and that's a hit. Now the Romans start hitting too. Second one, same target. And that's another hit. These guys are wearing down now. And then we have the velites as well. Same target. And that's a miss. Well, what do you think of this? I think it looks good for the Romans right now. They have, and remember, they had the first strike as well. So if we get a counterattack from there, we can bite back. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So that was the line command, yeah. So we do like this, and then we play the Carthaginians, A, B or C. So it would be an outflanked, or now we could play, Mago could do his entry now, or we play some medium troops. Well, the outflank would be nice to play at this point, to be honest, because we could get in some heavier troops towards the battle now. But you know, I want to get in Mago as fast as possible, so I will actually do the inspired left leadership at this point. So left would be over here from the Carthaginian point of view. So we're gonna let these guys enter. The bad thing is we cannot really reach anything. Or we can do a cavalry attack. So maybe we should use that opportunity. So if we put Mago with the cavalry, let's do like this. So these guys will start, let's say here. These guys could start here with the support of his friend. Ah, come on. Like that. Now everything is deployed. So that was 1, 2 and 3. And these guys, since they cannot reach anything, they had to stay on the baseline here. But we got one interesting attack. So now I'm going to see if the Romans play the first strike. So if you remember, a quick recall, I will roll one die. If I get anything that affects these guys in any way, I will play it. But remember, in this instance, since they have Mago with them, a flag is, for instance, not affecting them, so that will not trigger the card. So I really need to roll either this one or the blue to trigger the card in this. No, it's a green, so we will not play the first strike at this point. So Mago will get his surprise strike here with 3 dice, and well, let's see what happens. And actually, well, let's see what happens first. That's 1 hit and 1 flag. Okay, The Romans take 1 hit. Then we need to retreat 3 hexes. And I don't want to retreat over here because then these warriors can hit me. So I will go 1, 2, and 3. These guys can go in. And they can go 1 more and attack. So I will actually do that and attack the Gauls over here. So suddenly Carthaginians appear on the Gauls' flank, and that cannot be good, can it? But again, we're gonna see if those guys play their first strike. No, it's a red, so the Gauls will not play the first strike, so Mago will do his attack with 3 dice again. And let's see, that's 1 hit. So one of these warriors down, but we didn't manage to get them to retreat, so they will actually battle back with actually 4 dice this time, because they were full strength when this battle began. Let's see, they're not adjacent to a leader, but we got a sword symbol, so one of the Carthaginians went down, and we're also gonna see what happened with Mago, if anything happened with Mago. He's fine. But we have now played... No, we haven't played the first strike, sorry. So that was the inspired left leadership, and now we have all the Carthaginians in play. Interesting. Yeah, so that was the new card. Looking good for... Well, I don't know who it looks best for, but it's cool. We are getting close to each other now. It's the Romans now, so they can actually, you know, already bite back. So it's a C or lowest order count. So let's see what they have in C. Is 3 center or order mounted. Well, we could with a mounted attack, for instance, some Gauls here, but that's really, really risky. We could also attack those guys, but I'm not sure. Maybe we should go with a 3 in the center instead. Bad thing, those Gauls can reach us next time. Could we prevent that in any way? We cannot reach those guys, that's for sure. Well, that was a kind of a bad situation, to be honest. Oh my. No, I'm gonna go with the 3 center for the Romans. We're gonna go in with the Auxilia now, and let's move in some support there as well. Maybe we need this guy in the battle with those guys actually. So let's leave those and go in with these guys, legionaries. So movement, those guys move up 1. Kind of not liking breaking the line here, but that's what's gonna happen now. Then we move up here, we're gonna attack those slingers in close combat, they cannot evade. So let's start from here to here, that's 3 dice. And that's 2 hits, and that's actually what we need. So those slingers goes down, we get the Roman first banner. We could go in, but we don't want to do that. We will stay here. The second one, 3 dice again. That's 2 flags. 1 flag they can ignore, but second they need to take, and they should retreat 2 hexes, but they cannot, so they take 2 losses instead. So, but since they stayed, they can actually battle back, and that's 2 dice. And this is not a hit, but they got a flag. We are supported, but we could actually retreat. Maybe we do that this time actually to prevent getting hit from the medium heavies here. These guys are in a bad position, kind of, but I mean, the intention was to do the strike here against those slingers, and they succeeded in that, so I'm happy. I'm happy with that. So that's what happened. The Carthaginians should be a bit worried about those slingers. They have nowhere to go. So So let's see if they can save those guys. Now, first we're gonna give the Romans a card, and then we see what the Carthaginians can play. It's an A, B, or C, so it's an outflanked, order mediums, or in slot B we have 2 units left. So the outflank could actually give us some Gallic warriors. I think that's very, very tempting to do now, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna play the outflanked, because I want these warriors activated. And on this flank, well, we could move with the Numidians again. I mean, we could get a hit on these guys, but we are in a dangerous situation here if we move too far forward. Let's see what we want to do. Well, I'm gonna do could fire with some slingers, of course. We could, maybe we should do that. So let's take these guys, and I'm actually gonna take, no, let's keep Mago there. I was thinking of moving Mago to these heavies, but I need to hold the flank here. So we should not move. I want to move him to the heavies, right? For the clash. I could do it a bit later on, of course. The elephant could give them some support here. Let's do that instead. I will not activate these guys. I will activate the elephants and Mago himself. So Mago will actually move to the heavies, and the elephants will just take one side step to give these guys support in case they move forward and throw the javelins against us. So there will be no other movement over here or battle, but here we have some interesting things happening. So I'm gonna rush in right into the middle here, and since I had the first strike, I need to see first who will attack. But the thing is, I want to attack these guys first. That's the thing. And then attack with these guys. The optimal result would be, you know, attack here, destroy those guys, and then attack here. They will probably not die and battle back, but then we have yet another battle. We could destroy one of those guys. But that needs to be to do that sequence of battle. So I will do that. So these guys will attack first. So let's see if those lights actually play the first strike or not. Actually they will, because this would affect the warriors. So the lights will now trigger the first strike. Well, who knows, maybe that's a good thing. They are not adjacent to leaders, so that was a miss. So the lights pretty much blew it, so now comes the Gallic warriors. They need 2 hits. They got 1, but only 1. Can you believe it? Those lights did survive that, actually. Because the flag they can ignore, they're supported, and the Gauls are not adjacent to leaders. So actually the lights survived that. They will battle back again. No, since they did the first strike they cannot battle back. Sorry about that. That was the end of that battle. So, well, I have to go with those warriors against that light then. 4 dice, we need 1 hit. Well, that we got. We destroy that, and at last we got the Carthaginian first victory banner. I will go in and I will attack again, and this time I'll attack. I will actually go for the auxiliaries here because those guys are adjacent to leader, so they will battle back so hard. So I will try to get those auxiliaries there. 4 dice. that gives me 1 hit. Not too impressive. I mean, these are the best guys, the picked warriors from the Carthaginian army. Let's see how those guys respond. They actually got in 1 hit on the warriors, so that was pretty much of a exchange there. 1 block each. So I guess the momentum got a bit worn out here from the Gallic warriors. So that was the outflanked. Not as effective as I hoped. On the other hand, the Carthaginians are kind of happy that Romans blew their first strike card to pretty much no use there. By that, I think I'll end this session here. So we have an even score, 1 victory banner each, and we are seeing the armies moving together, and there will be a huge clash next in the next session, that's for sure. And we also see these guys entangled here in the flank rear of the Roman right. And we also have some cavalry strike force. Who dares to attack the other cavalry first? Let's see in the next episode. So thanks guys for watching, and see you in part 2 of the Battle of Trebbia. Bye bye.